Thank you, Pau, and hi everybody. My name is Brendan Mooney. I work in the Northern and Western Regional Assembly, and I suppose I feel a bit different than everybody else that's going to speak this morning because I know absolutely nothing about hydrogen, and the reason I'm here is because I am the national contact point for three European funding programs: Atlantic Area, Interreg Europe, and the Northern Periphery and Arctic, which is the funding body for the project we're speaking about this morning, which is huge. We have a very tight schedule, I know, so I'm going to be really quick. I just want to tell you a few things about what we do in the Regional Assembly. We try and do three things. What we do is we create better places by ensuring our region adopts effective planning and economic development policies. So you've probably all heard, or all the Irish people here have heard about Ireland 2040. It's the national plan for the next 20-odd years in Ireland. So that's the national plan. We sit in the middle between the national policy and local policy and create the regional policy. So we've written the regional, spatial and economic strategy over the last number of months and nearly 2 years now at this stage. And that strategy focuses on our energy, technology, social, economic, spatial and ecological strategies. We also enhance our competitiveness by optimising Exchequer and EU funding. We are the managing authority of the BMW operational programme. It's the ERDF programme. The European Regional Development Fund was set up to narrow the difference, narrow the imbalance between regions that are thriving and the regions that need the assistance. So this €320 million programme invests in research and technology, in the National Broadband Plan it'll be funding. It funds the Coram Research Centre here in NUIG. It funds a lot of the entrepreneurship supports that the local enterprise offices deliver throughout our region. And finally, we act as a platform for collaboration. And that's what we're here today to do, to work with our universities, to help them develop the learning and the knowledges that they want to do and try and get the funding that they need for that. My area of expertise and where I work is in Interreg funding. Every 7 years, Europe creates a budget, and that budget for this programme for Interreg funding is €10.1 billion. So it's a sizable amount of funding. There are 107 Interreg programs, which is very surprising. Most of those are cross-border, but the funding we're talking about today is Interreg B, which is transnational programs. So I know in the afternoon I saw Northwest Europe and Atlantic Area programs will be speaking, but this morning is Northern Periphery and Arctic program. Interreg C has 4 cooperation programs. Probably the most famous one is Interreg Europe, and that's a policy-based program. So it's looking at learnings throughout Europe, partnerships created to change policies for the betterment of the citizens. Europe invests in programs under a number of different priorities. And in this current program period, the 2014-2020 programming period, there are 11 key priorities. But at the moment in Europe, you hear a lot of people talking about the multi-annual financial framework. And that will then reinvest that money in the next program period under 5 headings. So a smarter Europe, a more connected Europe, a greener Europe. They're the 3 main headings, and then the other 2 are Europe's closer to its citizens and a more social Europe. As I said, we're here today to talk about the huge project, the launch of the huge project, and it is funded through the Northern Periphery and Arctic. And that is, it's a transnational cooperation programme among a number of different regions and countries. I suppose the EU member states are Sweden and Finland, Ireland, Northern Ireland, and Scotland, and then you have Iceland, Norway, Greenland, and the Faroe Islands also involved. And the president of NUIG mentioned about our next parish over earlier on, being Boston or Newfoundland. There is a very similar project to Huge. It's called Secure. It's to do with wind energy, and it actually has partners in Newfoundland. So the borders of the European programs aren't just fixed to European countries. In this program, you can have Canadian partners or Russian partners. So if there are areas of expertise or people of expertise in other regions, you can bring them in to get the best learning. As I said, the Northern Periphery and Arctic program invests under a number of different priorities. It's hard to read that, but the priorities are innovation, entrepreneurship, renewable energy, and natural and cultural heritage. And Huge comes in under priority 3, obviously, renewable energy, with partners from a number of different regions. When projects come in for assessment, I have to say Huge was one of the most successful or most favoured projects in this particular call. And it was to do with, obviously, the area of research and the way the application was written, but it was also to do with the partnership. There was great geographical spread of the partnership, but there was also a sectorial mix. And again, I think one of the speakers before me mentioned about sectors working together. So we have the policy writers, we have the researchers, we have the implementers, but in this project we also have the Aran Island Energy Co-op, which are the people on the ground. The citizens of Europe will get benefit from the investment, from the money that the Northern Periphery and Arctic will provide for this particular project. And that was something that the assessors of the applications were really, really interested in seeing. I'm going to show you this slide. Most of the funding in Interreg is currently closed. However, the Northern Periphery and Arctic has one final call, and it may be of interest to some of you for this particular call because there's one particular strand that is extremely different than any other calls that I've seen previously. So I just want to tell you that pretty much every organisation is open to be eligible to be a partner in the Northern Periphery and Arctic, whether it be national, regional, local authorities, right down to your SMEs, and your not-for-profit organisations through your public universities or your local authorities. So if you have an organisation or you're involved in an organisation and you feel that you could get some funding through this particular programme, or you have a project that might fit, please come and talk to me afterwards and I can see if I can assist you. As I said, the 7th call is the last call for funding in the MPA, and it's also probably the last call for funding in any European programme. It currently is open. It opened 2 weeks ago. They're looking for a number of different types of projects. There are main projects, capitalisation projects, and disruptive technology projects, and that's the one that might be of interest to people here today. The main projects are for the Greater Market Reach Priority 2.2 and also for Priority 4, Sustainable Environmental Management. Strand 2 really isn't of interest. It's for capitalisation, so it's projects that are already funded. But Strand 3 is looking for disruptive technology projects. As I said earlier on, the next round of funding for Europe is looking at a smarter, greener, more connected Europe. And this type of funding that's available is to look and prepare for the next round of funding. So it's looking at the Internet of Things, virtual reality, augmented reality, blockchain technology, or any other technologies that we mightn't be aware of that might help the citizens of the Northern Periphery and Arctic region. And it's focusing in on priority 1, 2, and 4, so not renewable energy, but innovation, entrepreneurship, and natural cultural heritage. Particularly health tech, clean tech, sustainable innovation, entrepreneurship, and diversification of natural and cultural heritage. We have a number of interested parties in already, and really projects that we hadn't thought about, whether it's using blockchain technology to help our farmers with the provenance of food, or using virtual technology to assist our tourism markets. Dark sky tourism is huge in the west of Ireland. We're getting a lot of Asian tourists coming in to see dark sky, see the stars at night. However, the odd time in the west of Ireland, there's a bit of cloud cover, and when they get here, they can't see the stars. But they're using virtual reality to put a headset on when you get to Ballycroy and look through the clouds to see what the stars would look like if that odd evening of cloud cover wasn't there. Strand 2 and 3, or Strand 3 particularly, the Disruptive Technologies project, it's a lump sum payment. It's a budget of about €154,000, which is ERDF of €100,000. That €100,000 is over 18 months. It's a minimum of 3 partners, so that money is divided between 3 partners to do research into whatever area you feel fits within the programme. It's quite a tight schedule for application. It's a 2-step process. There's an expression of interest phase which finishes on the 7th of August. It's a very light application, the expression of interest. And if you pass that, then there's a further fuller application, which is deadline on the 30th of September. There's also a how to apply seminar in Sweden at the end of August. That's not compulsory, but if you're new to Interreg or you're new to the MPA, I would recommend if you get past the first stage and you're really interested in your project, it's really worth going to. As I said, I am the contact point in the Regional Assembly. My role is to get as much funding into the region as possible through the programmes we spoke about. So at any stage, if you want to contact me in Balladreen, you can find us online, or you can talk to me after the event today, and I'd be more than happy to assist you in putting an application together, trying to get either a smaller Strand 3 disruptive technology project together, or a fuller application for Strand 1 and 2. So that's it very quickly. Again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Brendan. So Brendan has partially introduced already one of the reasons why we are all here. That is also the launch of the huge project. And the next presentation will be given by Desislava Todorova, which is the coordinator of the project. Desislava is working at the Environmental Research Institute from the University of Highlands and Islands in Trushaw, in the north part of Scotland. So she will introduce now the project HUGE.